more black smoke at the Vatican.
There have now been 3 votes and 3 inconclusive votes.
President heads to Capitol Hill
for a budget face-off with House Republicans.
The Roundup turns 75.
Columbia's shortwave transatlantic program.
That's what it looked like and sounded like earlier this morning at the CBS World News Roundup. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the radio broadcast. It first began airing before World War II and gave us the legendary Murrow Boys. Charles Osgood, a veteran of CBS Radio and anchor of Sunday Morning, has the news about the news.
Right at this moment, Austria is no longer a nation, but is now officially a part of the German Empire.
March 1938. Germany took Austria under Nazi control. And as uncertainty settled over Europe, word of the Anschluss spread to the United States in real time.
As I said, everything is quiet in Vienna tonight. There's a certain air of expectancy about the city, everyone waiting and wondering where and at what time Herr Hitler will arrive tomorrow.
That was the debut of what would become the longest-running news broadcast in history, the CBS World News Roundup.
And now Columbia begins its radio tour of Europe's capital cities.
Robert Trout emceed the broadcast from CBS headquarters. The term anchorman would come later. Linking reporters at the scene with an anchor in New York was a new kind of broadcast and a technological triumph for 1938. The entire broadcast was live.
This is Edward Murrow speaking from Vienna.
It was also the debut of Edward R. Murrow. CBS decided it needed to cover an increasingly volatile Europe in the late 1930s. So Murrow was reassigned from his job as an executive to report the Second World War.
This is London. For some reason, Sunday seems to be London's night. We've been bombed tonight. It's been one of the heaviest...
Pioneers of broadcasting joined Murrow on the Roundup: Eric Sevareid, Charles Collingwood, William L. Shirer. The Murrow Boys, as they became known, documented history as it happened. Richard C. Hottelet on the D-Day invasion.
The bombs and the shells burst together on the target. There were sheets of flame down below, then rolling balls of brown and black smoke.
Robert Pierpoint in 1951 from a battlefield in Korea.
We have just hit the dirt.
Walter Cronkite covering Vietnam.
Hardly a vessel comes through that isn't raked also with small arms fire at least. And we are taking some casualties.
For us, in those times, the World News Roundup was the program we wanted to get on.
Marvin Kalb was a regular on the Roundup.
Every time that I could do a piece for the Roundup, I felt honored.
Good morning. This is Dallas Townsend with the CBS World News Roundup.
Now here's Douglas Edwards with the CBS.
Over the years, the people on the World News Roundup
Good morning,
changed.
everyone. I'm Christopher Glenn with the CBS World News Roundup.
But the show kept true to its original.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup.
The formula is pretty much the same as it was when it started back in 1938.
Now to Washington.
Steve Kathan is the anchor today.
The effort of the show has been to try to bring people there and to get a sense of what's going on there from people who are covering the stories. And I think we've tried to be true to that up to this day, and I think it's one of the unique things that's helped it survive.
The page turns.
Change has come to America.
As an African-American becomes president.
They're still digging with their bare hands in Haiti in a desperate effort to pull out the living from under the mountains of earthquake debris.
Benedict's last day.
Nomen Domini benedictum.
History here at the Vatican.
At 75, a certain lore hangs over the World News Roundup.
It wasn't just a job. It was a calling. It was a privilege.
Time on the Roundup, 8 past the hour.
A broadcast filled with as much history as the history it's covered.
Bob Trout speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
For CBS This Morning, I'm Charles Osgood in New York.
Yeah, 75 years, a long time. You know, my stepfather still remembers those Murrow broadcasts on the Roundup back during World War II. And when I got this job, he was proud because of that.
Because of that.
Yeah.
It really is a great trip down memory lane when you look at that. Because when you're in your car and it's just you and the radio, nothing beats a great radio broadcast and a great voice in your ear.
That's so true.
Very nice. So your stepfather must be very proud.
Hopefully
Today,
still.
Anthony Mason. Yes, it's nice to be associated with CBS.